Okay, so this is the area I'm going to be working on today. You can see I have very spent blooms here. These are daffodils and tulips. Some of these I have, brought in bulbs from other areas. You can see my dogs dig up. I was planting yesterday here and like transplanting some bulbs, and I realized that the dogs were going in behind me and digging up the bulbs and eating the biotone starter fertilizer, which I don't think is going to hurt them, but yeah, that's what they were doing. Anyway, I got to put that one back, but I digressed. I'm going to go ahead and cut all of this back today. Now, I know technically I should leave it a little bit longer, but I just can't handle it, you guys. I could rubber band it, I could leave it, but it's starting to wear on me. It's like this focal point in my yard, and it just looks like that. Anyway, I have a ton of new plants I'm going to be putting in here. Because I need to find a home for them anyway. And of course, these bulbs will all be here and hopefully bloom again next year. So let me show you the new things I'm going to be putting in. So I am going to be replacing all of that stuff or moving on from it with all of these snapdragons. Now Midnight's over here munching on the catnip. It's his favorite pastime. He really loves the catnip plant. But anyway, these are all snapdragons, and you can see in our area, snapdragons aren't very big yet. They will get bigger as the summer goes on, but I've already planted quite a few in some of my Vigo garden beds to use for cut flowers, and these are all extra, so I need to do something with them. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pop them in that front area, and I think it'll make for a really pretty show. Unlike the ones in my Vigo garden beds over here, I don't think I'm gonna do any flower netting. They will probably need a little bit of staking. They should be staked like these ones, but I don't think I'm going to worry too much about it. Now, I probably could squeeze a couple more of them over here too, so I might do that as well. But yeah, these are the ones I planted. I planted these up a while back, and you can see they're not very much bigger even than the ones in the little pots. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to be working on today. Right, so here's what I have for layout. I have to say I'm kind of regretting this decision. Cutting those tulips back, I was realizing how much foliage was there, and I don't know, I probably should have left it, you guys. I'm impatient. So anyway, it is what it is. I've made the decision. So worst case scenario, they don't come back as well next year, and I can always let them do what they will next year, and then make sure to leave the foliage if it seems to impact their performance. So anyway, there's a lot of honeybees over here today. So I think they were getting some of the water. See if I can zoom in on this guy. You see him there? They were getting the water from the foliage that was on the tulips. Like there was water kind of down inside of there, and so now I'm a little concerned. We do have some watering stations for the bees, but if you keep bees, one of the things you might not know is you do have to water them. Like that's part of being a good beekeeper. So we have a different watering station set up, but what I might do is just get a little container with some rocks and put it here, because it seems like that's where they were coming, and I don't want to disrupt their routine with my gardening decisions, which, you know, is hard not to do. But anyway, I'm excited for Snapdragon Land here. I'm hoping this will look really pretty, and yeah, moving on. The other thing that's kind of cool about these snapdragons, if I don't stake them, is they will be what's called I think it's called geotropic, so meaning that they will lean towards the sun, and they will move and have more like curved stems. Or I could also stake them individually. I have some individual stakes that I can prop things up on if need be. So anyway, that's just another kind of note on that about snapdragons. They actually look really pretty when they do that. So here's another bee. I don't know if I can get him, you guys. It's a big old honey bee. All right, before I go much further, I'm gonna set up a watering station over here for the bees. Back in the day when my husband and I had a beehive, we learned a lot about the importance of watering your bees, and we actually had a little fountain, not a fountain, but a pond at that time. We have a small fountain as well. But we had a pond, and we had a couple of goldfish in there and some water plants and stuff like that. And then we had a lily pad plant, kind of one that sat on the top so that the bees can get water. So that's one of the ways that they can get water. If you don't have the pleasure of having a fountain or a pond, this will work too. So you can do this anywhere for any kind of pollinators, but just fill kind of a tray, a waterproof tray with some stones. Just make sure that the water that gets in here doesn't have like any, I don't know, like any fertilizer or anything like that. Make sure it's kept clean. And I try to do that anyway for my animals. I keep clean water around. Anyway, I'm gonna fill this with water and set it over here to make sure the bees are still getting the water that they need today. Okay guys, well, here it is. I just watered it in, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Like I said, I'm second guessing myself about cutting all those bulbs so soon, but again, I feel like sometimes, you know, I get impatient and I just want to see something else. So this is kind of my summer planting of all these snapdragons. I'm excited to see how they turn out. There's 2 different varietals here, so I will keep you updated, but it feels nice to have something fresh in there and to have some of those spent leaves trimmed down. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about how it turned out tonight.